Hello, welcome to Sound and Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I am Tina. Today I'm doing a book review of Stargun Messenger by Darby Hahn. This is the self-published sci-fi that came out in May of 2023. I received this book from Escapist Book Tours as part of you guessed it, the book tour. So thank you so much to the tour organizers and the author. I was not expecting what this book was, and I was delightfully surprised. In terms of the May the Force Read With You readathon that I'm doing this month, this book gets me a partner in the readathon. The partner is a bounty hunter. This is read a book that's recently caught your attention. And that is true about this book. It did recently catch my attention. So I now have bounty hunters on my side, which is great because I've always loved the bounty hunters in Star Wars. I mean, how can you not? Getting into it, there are no spoilers for this review. If there's one book I would compare this book to, it would be Nofic Gloss. Oh, it's too high. I'm not going to get it. The story is nowhere near the same, but it shares the same complex and at times demanding prose and a dark and gritty tone. And given I love Nofic Gloss and Azura Ghost, guess who got an arc of Aethera Grave? It's coming out in July, book 3. Anyway, comparing this book to Nofic Gloss is a big compliment. In truth, while it took me a bit to kind of get into the book, I ended up really enjoying it, and I kind of love it. So what is it about? Astra Idari is a mess. She drinks too much, remembers too little, and barely pays for it all as a Stargun messenger. She hunts down thieves who steal filamentium, the fuel that allows for faster-than-light travel. When Idari meets Jen Amera, she meets the girl of her dreams and the last living star. There's just one problem. Filamentium is only found in the blood of living stars. Everyone wields knives and justifications for butchering the living stars to get around, but once Idari knows the truth, she faces a stark choice. Either she turns Amara over to her employees who control the Filamentium monopoly, or risks everything to help Amara fill her quest to save her people. The choice should be simple, but it's not losing her life that terrifies Idari. It's finally living. Idari knows she's human, despite outwardly appearing to be an android with a failing memory stitched together by her ship's irascible AI, CRUX. She's just getting by for longer than she can remember, assured in her humanity, but not enough to risk it. Idari has lived her entire life in darkness. The dark comforts and shields. The dark preserves, and it's cold, and Idari may not be able to keep her star out of her shadow. Given that last paragraph, you can tell that the prose in this novel is not the most approachable. I think a lot of readers would find it at times wordy and often too lofty. I liked it. And this book has so many unique concepts and plot twists that I'd never seen before. Of course, those are all spoilers, so I can't get into them, but I promise the novel goes in so many directions you don't expect. It has a lot of common sci-fi tropes as well, such as an AI wishing to be human, but there's also a romance, people being exploited by others for monetary gain, time dilation, fun fights, sentient spaceships, and aliens. Lots of aliens. One of my favorite scenes is from the start, when Idari is hit on by a wolf-like alien. That made me laugh so hard. And there's two characters I shipped, and despite my wildest dreams in that regard, I thought I was way out in left field, they came together. I was like, wow, someone has heard my pleas. In truth, this book did a lot of stuff that I absolutely love in sci-fi. We also have a badass and an emotionally wrecked main character. This is part of why it's hard to get into the book at first. I felt like the initial action started too quickly before we came to know Idari and care about her, but if we spent too much time with her before the real plot took off, though, we might not have carried on with it. She's hard to like at first because she's prickly and she's depressing and she's an alcoholic, which I understand the latter, isn't really her fault, but it's a bit of a downer in terms of mood. CRUX, or Crux as I'm going to call him, the AI of her ship, really helps even this out though, as he is hilarious. Crux is my favorite character by far. Every time he's on the page, he just shines, and I just loved him. After the story gets going, Idari's main deal emotionally is dealing with her memory gaps from being a proxynetic, which is a body that her programming or consciousness or combination of the two, her code basically, is uploaded into. So she's like a replicant, she's an android with flash imprints, a favorite trope of mine. If she dies on the job, she simply uploads to a new body from her backup, drive. But if she doesn't sync to the backup system, whatever she has learned and experienced between sync and death is lost. This almost immortality is what makes her feel less than human, which is a major component of her identity issues in the book. It also doesn't help that others don't think of her as human either, and she gets a lot of mistreatment from that. You know, the whole like no droids allowed in here kind of thing. The love story is one area of the novel that was a bit meh for me. It's very much insta-love, and I wondered what the two of them had to talk about, given one of them is a literal star and the other is an android. While I liked both of them, I would have liked a bigger build-up to their story, but the novel is quite long, and their like love for one another is a major part of it, so perhaps there just wasn't space. It's also kind of hinted at that this is not like a new thing. It has to do with her memory loss. I don't know. I wasn't still a huge proponent. I still wasn't like super into that angle, but there was so much more else about the book that's so good that I don't even care. There are some really cool worlds in the book, as well as space pirates. There's this great line about proxynetics that I definitely loved. Usually rich people bored with their lives use them to pretend to be other people, which is odd considering how enamored they are of being themselves. I laughed quite a bit at that. You know my thoughts on rich people. I actually laughed quite a bit in this book, as the book has some moments of comedy, mainly of the absurd variety, that really help to break up some of the seriousness. Lines like, "I'd have better luck finding where I left my common sense." That made me giggle, and I mean, I can identify with that. The prose, as I said at the start, is lofty. It's intentionally verbose at times, almost as if mimicking Adari's confusion or overload of data in her brain. There are some lovely turns of phrase, though, such as, "The light of dead stars travels forever, chasing immortality as it chases the unattainable horizon of the ever-expanding universe." And "Shadows of moons race across the cloud tops of a gas giant." All periods of sentences in search of a desperate stop. It sometimes takes a moment, like that last sentence, to grasp what he means, but if you're okay with and or love this kind of prose, you will really enjoy this book because there's a lot of it in the book. What this book is not, though, is a typical sci-fi by any means. It's attempt at something deeper than pure entertainment, and the literary fiction lover in me appreciated that quite a bit. It has a bit of an Ian Banks feel, a dash of Samuel Delany, and quite frankly, a book I wasn't expecting to love as much as I did. So yeah, if you can't tell, I very much recommend, if you're into self-published sci-fi, checking out Stargun Messenger. Thank you again to Escapist Book Tours for the ebook. I really appreciated it. So thank you.